Hey, traders, welcome to episode 718 of the show. You could be doing anything, but you're here, and I appreciate it, man. It is like rainy and overcast. It's my mom's birthday. Shout out to Cheryl for making another year on the planet. So that's why I'm late. We went out to eat, had a good one, and now I'm back, man. So, what happened? The weekly closed a little over 15 minutes ago. New weekly candle. So we can definitely look at that. Hope all of y'all have had a great weekend. I have. It's been fantastic, dude. Absolutely fantastic. Let's see. There's the weekly. Gotta get rid of some of this stuff. That's weird. Why is it actually showing on the weekly? It shouldn't. 2 seconds. Good music though, man. This song is called Mindset by Rue St. Martin. All one word. And yes, someone said, I think it was Phil maybe, we got it, man. We got ourselves a bullish engulfing candle on that weekly, and I'm going to it real soon, like right now. Okay, here's your weekly close. All right, so this is just that look, you know, the wedge look, whatever. Wasn't a very big candle, but it definitely did engulf. And wow, how crazy is that, huh? Like where we closed. If you look at the weekly candle high close back from where? July 2018, what did we do? We actually closed and held above it, right? We fell below it and now we're back. So I guess the area to hold above this week is going to be 82.20 or so. Wonder if we can get some fall through price action with the engulfing candle. The weekly not looking that great on the oscillators. Or we're looking at, slightly highest level of negative Momo of this whole move down. You know, the negative histogram island being built. And this is the highest level we've seen since April 2018. It's been a while, man, since we've seen this much negative Momo. And the RSI, nothing's really changed much. You know, where we know the equilibrium level on the RSI, that neutral area for that 2-year long bullish cycle we had, we never fell below 53 or so. And this time, you know, we broke above it, and then just on the way down, we never tested or anything. We just fell all the way down to like 44, and now we're like 47, which is pretty much neutral for the most part. I mean, anything below 40 is bearish. So, neutral RSI, engulfing, getting back above historical support resistance area, and that's it. That's a change from that. It's not very clear here. It's probably not even valid on the weekly, but just on the 4 hour or so, the more minor swing high to low, we had almost got a 38% retrace, never quite got there. 89.60, that was a target. We got as high as 88.17 on Bitfinex at least. Get rid of that, so you can just see. But overall, man, that's that pattern. If it ends up being real, this is good, right? Big impulse, and now we're forming that those two converging downsloping trend lines. That's a form of contraction, and it's normally signifies in this context a continuation. It would be a continuation pattern. This pattern's been in development, it seems like, for 100+ days. So it's good. What are you looking at? You're looking literally at Bitcoin on the weekly, man. Okay, this is the weekly. Swing of the daily too. So this was an idea I had where if we did sell off here, it wouldn't be the weirdest thing in the world, just because look how we, have rejected that 200-day moving average over and over and over again. We were reversed up there, and now we're going sideways. We're trying to hold on to that weekly support, whatever, but if we sold off once more and we could make a slightly lower low, it could put us near the bottom of this, wedge, if you want to call it that. And what could happen, hypothetically, is you'd end up getting something like this, where your positive Momo begins to wane on the way down, and then we start getting into negative Momo territory while we, are making lower lows. And eventually, once we get down near that very critical area on the daily, 7250 or so, 73, 7400, near the 618, right? The major low to high retrace, low to high, 62% retrace. At these areas, maybe we could show some very severe levels of Class A bullish divergence on a daily time scale. Not just on the MACD, but also on the RSI too. Like, we had some RSI divergence in it. We broke to the upside, but just very little demand, very little price action. I mean, you didn't go very far at all. As we discussed, from this high to low, you haven't even made a 38% retrace officially. So there is still the potential for more downside, but maybe on that downside we get just a slightly lower low and the divergence appears. Okay, and it would look like this, and that's when we could take a shot. There might be a decent opportunity on the daily for a long on Bitcoin, if that's the case. Okay. So again, good to see y'all. Maybe we're forming a wedge. It's very possible. And again, that's just a great thing. Having a pattern this large, man, just think about the size of it. I mean, of course, people like descending triangle, whatever. Measure move was down at like 5K or something, the size of this. Remember the interpretation of it, where it was like symmetrical triangle, but kind of descending, just because it was like more distribution going on than accumulation. And so we dumped out of it, but haven't even gotten close to that measure move yet. So okay. Very critical supports, a little bit lower than the 618, down that 67, 6800 mark. Wow, lots of it, man, right there. There might be opportunity. Just think about it. If we get sell off, maybe we get price action to even lower levels before wicking back up. I mean, there have got to probably be a lot of buy orders, limit buys set up down here. That is a serious amount of support. That's very real, man. Okay. All right.
Bruh.
So you gotta love this, man. Though, like and here are the Fibonacci I was talking about. Right? But I'll get rid of it for a second, just so we can see that clean look of the equidistant channel. I mean, it's just brilliant. Anchor point 1 and 2 on the bottom, 3 on the top, a 4th touch, almost a 5th touch. That didn't quite touch, but it's kind of a touch. Yeah, just so close, man. It's wild. Anyway, the heartline resistance, the heartline support, more upthrusting of the heartline. Heartline support, 75 resistance, 75 support, right? Resistance, support. And you sold off, and look how we kind of double bottomed here and rallied up. And when we rallied up, we sold off to do what? To test the heart line of the channel, even though I know there's a little bit of daily horizontal line support looking left. Yeah, right back here. Remember this June 2018 level. And look, when we hit the heart line, where do we go? We bull flagged, ran up, and dude, look at it. It's like perfect. It's like you hit the 75% trend line of the equidistant channel beautifully. Sold off. It looks like you almost rallied to go hit it again for squaring up. I think we squared up on the 60 minutes just recently. Okay. Yeah, there it is. We did not quite touch that perfect square up. It was so close though, man. I mean, really. So now we've gotten to the square up level. Like officially, it was like 82.10 or something. Oops. Is there anything going on with the 60 minutes that I see besides the square up? Not really. I mean, we up thrusted. We could never break out of the range. This is a very clear range here, man. Right, that was pretty much the top of the range. It was built, and here's the bottom of the range. So you went from the bottom of the range to the top, and had a couple false breakout. I mean, this was just an up thrust. I mean, these were both up thrusts, but like false breakout, right? Where as soon as you broke out, you closed in reverse to the downside. What a head fake, man! and now you're just going sideways. There's another square up around 78.55. So you'd think, like, if we can make higher lows, that's great. You know, I don't know if that's going to happen. I don't see a structure. You're in the dead middle of a range, like a $1,000 range or something like that. So it could go either way. It could run back up to the top of the range or go straight to the bottom. Again, the reason why we could go to the bottom is just that beautiful square up at 78.50. All right. Still trying to hold on that 200 moving average on the 60 minute, but whatever, right? Again, it's like you were range bound from August to late September, $1,500 range, and then you dumped, and now you created another range, man. So nothing wrong with ranges, man. Like lower risk areas for longs, high risk areas for longs, low risk entries for shorts, high risk entries for shorts down here. You get it? It's a range. It's range bound. It's beautiful, man. It's like you have, maybe we're in a downtrend right now in Bitcoin, right? Midterm, long term, whatever you want to call it, that 100-day plus downtrend, the correction. But in the short term, look what we're in a no range, no trend. We were in a no trend before, and now we're in another no trend in the short term. All right, 60 minutes, nice. So that's it, man. Look at the daily, the 4 hour, the weekly, the 60-minute chart on Bitcoin. We've analyzed it backwards and frontwards. Connect. All right. So we can certainly look at the futures chart, which is open. So in the downtrend, it could just plot it as easily as an equidistant channel and just made it parallel just because whatever. Something that's going on, right, where we sold off, had a big dump. We knew it was coming, the upside or downside, the big move. It happened. And where to go? We fell below a critical support from July 2018. And all we've done is we rallied below it, and now we're up thrusting, failing to get above it. And look, as you can see, we are still below it now. So you got to wonder, is it just a back test, right? And now we're gonna sell off to lower prices. I mean, the 200-day moving average on the futures is around $7,200. Could always go to test that. Last time we touched the 200-day moving average when we breached it. For real, back April of this year. It's been a long time, man. A lot of things happening. So, will the downtrend continue? There is support below us that we never hit at 7,400, and a little bit more against 65 to 6,700. That decent value area. So what's up, chat? Are y'all okay? The Bengals are an S coin. Aren't the Browns too, JMO? Oh my God, how about college football? Alabama's ranked number 1. LSU's number 2. Game of the Century 2.0. Incoming November 9th. I'll see you there. We should just live stream it, man. So if we want to, we can go to other assets across this beautiful market, whatever. Oh, okay, I know I did. So here's Ethereum, the US dollar. Equidistant channel, 3 touches on the bottom, and had one here, but I've just adjusted it, with the new data. We make adjustments, right? When we are given new pieces of information, a lot of times analyses can change, analyses, whatever. So with that said, when we did adjust it, all of a sudden we started getting nice respect here. 75% trend line. Look at the support, resistance, heartline resistance. See that, then you can see the 75% trend line, right, as resistance again. And now you've just had this kind of methodical move up, which isn't normally bullish. Like this kind of stuff How many times y'all remember last year on Bitcoin when it would just like we'd have a huge dump down in a downtrend? We knew we were in a well-established downtrend, and then we would just methodically move on up, and we'd start getting to really critical areas of resistance, like moderate to deep retraces, high to low. I mean, this is where we got big reversals, the downside. Remember that? I can pull it up. A little bit of tripping through time. We do it all the time, man. It's like just. Just things like this, you know, where I was talking about you were in a downtrend. It was clear you kept making lower highs, but then it was like, look, you have huge sell-offs and then you'd have rallies to the upside. I mean, think about it. This rally, once it finally started going, it went from August 11th all the way to September 4th, almost a month of upsloping consolidation. It was a wedge, 4-hour bearish divergence, very weak, and then a huge bearish engulfing candle after. And you think about huge move down, and then we had a nice rally, a rally that lasted from June 29th all the way to July 24th, almost a month. Same thing, impulse down, rally, lasted from April to May. It was 1 month, and then it was gone. Yeah. So, I mean, here we are. Huge sell-off. Kind of recovery started, you know, in September 26th, so we're in the midst of it. Now we're hitting those deeper or moderate retrace, the golden I mean, that's exactly where we went, the 618, 197.12. I think we got, yeah, almost $198. So what is it, man? It's just, to me, it's kind of bearish consolidation. That's what it looks like. Even though there's a base, there's like a support here that you've held on to. Okay, well, maybe in time we'll see that again at 163. If Bitcoin sells off more, you know what's going to happen for sure. You can't post Marfpaman, dude, you are gravely mistaken. I'm literally reading what you're saying right now. That's wrong. Kingdom's hoping for lower prices on Bitcoin this week. You might get it, man. You might get it. You're just in the middle of a range in the 60 minutes. You know how it is. Recession's on the way. Well, I mean, you know, it could be a while. I mean, things turned around for the stock market and equities. I mean, there's like President Trump's talking about there's headway made in like the first phase of the trade deal or whatever with China, and also, you know, this, all the rate cuts we've had, the presidential election coming up next year. You got Brexit coming up, but things are looking all right for equities with that pivot, man. That freaking pivot. Still a bearish pattern. I don't care who you are. What are you talking about, man? I'm talking about this freaking pivot on the S&P. Like right here. I mean, this is when you, oh my God, all hope is lost. And then you sold off. You kind of hit it twice before going again. So let's go to yes. Futures are open and they're up. Futures are up, and look, we're beginning to rally once more. So if you know you got that, I think downsloping resistance ahead of you around 3,020 or so. If you ever broke that, you'd be very close, almost matching all-time highs. And if you broke all-time highs, there's a chance you could see the 1272, 3,099. Above that's the 1414 at 3135, and the 1618 at the golden mean ratio 3187. All right. So that's it. Futures up. Yeah, but because I can't post WTF. Yeah, you can, but you're literally not hearing or listening to what I'm saying. So thanks for the dislike, man. Give me a sec. Gotta delete something. We also got the Fed printing $60 billion a month, quantitative easing at its finest. I swear it's not. Well, no, we talked about this, I think Thursday, that stealth quantitative easing, where Yeah, the presidential administration has cut rates, big ones for corporations, and the Fed obviously can't buy assets. They can't buy equities, so they'll say, hey, everyone's working together. We'll cut your rates, but you have to buy back your stock. Ooh, look at. Oh my god, this is so scary, dude. Amber alert, dude. Freaking Amber alert. Jeez. Don't steal children, dude. It's a really bad idea. You're gonna get caught. So the pollsters don't like Clemson. Yeah, but I think it was you almost losing, right, to North Carolina. I mean, it was like one play from a loss to a very bad team, right? It had nothing to do with Florida State. Come on. It's like Florida State, you're literally playing a team that it's probably its worst team or program in its entire school history. So it doesn't matter how many points you beat Florida State by. When you have a team in the SEC that beats a top 10 team, Clemson's, again, playing Florida State, one of the worst in the top 133 or whatever. You see what I'm saying? It's kind of like you're playing nobody, and then the person who jumped you, again, beat a top 10 team. That's what happens. I wouldn't call it disrespect, man. It can't be disrespect. It's just the way it is. Like, you know what? It's disrespectful. Not giving LSU its due, man. Beating Texas at Texas pretty well, and then just beating another top 10 team. I mean, that's a lot better than what Clemson's done this year. It has nothing to do with their streak. I mean, last year, throw it out, man. I know they won the title last year. No, they're just like keeping you alert, Drew Martin. Those alerts are for like if you see it shows the car, like hey, it's like a black Toyota, whatever model, and then if you see it, you can alert the authorities, and that's helpful for them, right? Is Florida really a top 10 team? Yes, they certainly were. They were a top 10 team, yes. I don't know, Kingdom, man. Alabama has to beat LSU. Okay, that's not going to be easy. Like, Bama could easily lose that game. We'll just have to wait and see. November 9th will be the game of the century. It will be the biggest, most anticipated game of the entire year. So, and then you've got October 26th, you've got Wisconsin versus Ohio State. I cannot wait to watch that one. That's also going to be a huge game. Okay. So Brad DeVille, he says, go Tigers. All right, man. See ya in November, man. Okay, so I guess we can go to like Litecoin or something. Just still range bound, man. The range hadn't changed, right? You had a false breakout up thrust, right? Where you just couldn't ever get above. Like when you got above it, I'm sorry, man, but when you got from a high to a higher high, you had Class A bearish divergence. You did have a little bit. So impending price action reversal, but it wasn't just that, man. It was Bitcoin dump too. So, I mean, there were multiple things going on that wasn't looking that great or that good for Litecoin. Okay, so just range bound. We're talking between $52 and $58 since late September, man. Still making, I guess, higher lows than these lows, but look what you've done. Like, you had the up thrust and then you sold off, and now you've rallied to do what was once supposed to be a support became resistance again. You rejected higher prices and now you're selling off some, so it does seem possible that you could come back down to the bottom of the range, right? $52. All right, so we just know, like, if you were to be able to break out successfully, ever with any kind of resounding price action, one way or another, measure move the downside, 100% measure move the downside from this rectangle or just range is going to be 46.58 downside, and upside is going to put you around 65 bucks, 64.60. Okay, so that's about it for now on this asset. That's Litecoin. It is outside. Remember, it had this beautiful linear range, or sorry, downtrend. We had a false breakout, dumped right back into it, but now we're out again. But you got to think at this point, do we adjust? Should we adjust our beautiful channel to include that fake out? I think so. I think that would be appropriate. So now we have it. Excuse me, a lot of lines. I know, man. A lot of stuff going on. I get it. What's up, Dan G, man?
Hope you're enjoying your weekend brew.
Yeah, dude. Thank you for the 36 BAT, the crypto contribution. Thank you, man. Really appreciate it. And thank you for watching and being here today. All of you. Okay. I know it's Sunday evening, the weekly closed. People hanging out with their families, doing things. And we're just over here doing charts, looking at the week ahead. What's coming? Okay. Yeah, anyone saying why can't they post? They hate giving downloads. Just ban them. They're literally trolling. Attention seeking. It's like, go do something with your life, man. Okay, so if we made the adjustment, we are still within this channel. Still in it, dude. Going sideways, not even coming close to threatening the previous high. So that is bearish. I think this type of price action after an impulse like that is bearish consolidation, not bullish, man. Lower highs, lower lows. Lower highs, lower lows. Every time you make the lower low, you never threaten the previous high, do you? Right, you came up much lower than the previous highs. You know, look, you dumped, you came up, you never came close to the previous highs. It's a trend. You are downtrending on Litecoin. There you go. There you go. Timbo Tom says he's not going to trash other teams, but Clemson basically lost to UNC, and he can understand the favorable rank to LSU for the hype. Yes. Gabe Borison, thanks for the sub. Because, I mean, it may be, there are many valid reasons why Clemson got jumped twice. But there's another one, and it's, come on, like, you can never ignore it. It's because the game's coming up, Alabama versus LSU, and they want it to be a 1v2 because of this. Lots of money, ratings, TV, ticket prices, everything. Litecoin doesn't affect Bitcoin. It's the other way around. Sure kingdom. Sometimes it has, it moves before Bitcoin or after Bitcoin, whatever. But really digging the channel, digging the downtrend we're in, right? It's beautiful. Beautiful downtrend. Oh, that's it, man. Sorry, that was probably log skill or something. I hate that though. I hate how. Maybe I should only make these visible on the 60-minute. I'll do that. So it's gets in the way when you zoom out. It looks pretty when you zoom in, and when you zoom out, it's just awful. It looks obnoxious. Right, there we go. A lot better. So as you can see, we're on our way down, man. On the way. Oops. All right. So how far have we retraced to this point in linear? From your low to your high. From the lowest point, 22 bucks, all the way to like 145. You've retraced nearly 78% of the way. You're now in deep retrace territory. You are. And there is very strong support looking left. I would say around 50 bucks, $49. I mean, it's like $48 to $50 looks like a strong support. You would think. But again, Bitcoin dumps, Litecoin's going with it, man, hard. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird, dude. Earning report this week? Yeah, no, man, I'm nervous. I'm in the green on it, but I'm thinking about closing out most of my position just to, and maybe I could open it back up. But again, I'm not going to get mad at myself for closing out a lot of my position because of earnings, because earnings, like, they could just gap up and go nuts and kill my short and any profit I have. So like, you don't be greedy. You just take what you got, let it subside, let the earnings come out, see what happens. But you just got to think about the fundamentals are just not good for banks, man. Rate cuts are terrible for them. So if we keep getting rate cuts, it's going to be worse for them. Think about that. Regular season championship for sure, dude. Absolutely. XRP, man. Let's just go to the big one. I don't know, man. Like, whatever. It's doing its thing. It's all over the place. Go to the big one. The log scale chart. Here we are. We're still there, man. We are still inside, holding this support, holding the upsloping support. This is it. But right now we are struggling with that 200-day moving average. You know, we were above it for a little while. I mean, for a few months, May to July, but it was just for the better part of a year and a half plus. We've been below that 200-day moving average. We've never been able to resoundingly get above it on this asset XRP. So if you can't hold 25 cents, there is a good chance in time you'll see 15 cents. And if you can't hold 15 to 12 cents, that little zone of support, you're coming down to 3 cents probably. So you just gotta think that if we're talking about low risk, we're talking about geometrical stuff, right? This channel, lifetime channel, we're talking, this is one anchor point back from December 2014. You know, you got to think this is a low risk area. If it's going to go to the upside, it's going to be soon. If it's going to hold inside this channel. All right. Private lender, yeah, man. You're looking for a swing trader. You're looking for 3-to-1 reward to risk on your trades. And that's because if you go 3-to-1, you can lose 66% of your trades and still be in the green if you position accurately or properly. Like you don't, oh, I'm trading this much this time, this much this time. You try to keep a percentage of your portfolio on each trade, and that way, if one loses, you don't lose absorbent amounts, and it takes more to make back those losses. So being consistent with a small percentage of your portfolio every trade, and then 3-to-1 minimum, so you only have to win 33% of your trades to be in profit. Hopefully that helps, private lender. Let me know. Whew. Yeah, we can look at Atom. I don't know last time I looked at it, but it was kind of recent, I guess. But it's a beautiful. You'll love this, dude. I love it. I'm gonna be like this.
Look here. Look, listen.
Here's your channel. All right, this is it. This contains the entire life of this asset, at least on the Binance chart back in April of this year. Pretty nice touches that we're getting around the 25. Look, there's definitely, look at the Heartline resistance, Heartline support, 75% resistance here. Marco Rivera, man.
Bruh.
Marco Rivera's hit $20. Happy birthday to your mom, amigo. God bless.
Thank you. I'll let her know. I did say collectively the community wished her a happy birthday. I had to ping at everyone to let everyone know that I wasn't going to be live at the normal time. So got a lot of love from that. So she appreciates it. Thank you, man. Okay. Very cool. So where are we? Where are we on Atom? We are at critical momentum shifting levels. But I'd be careful here because it is very, very clear at this time that we are showing Class A MACD bearish divergence. But somehow you're holding on to positive Momo. Wow, and I don't really know if you could call, I mean, it might just be a wedge. Let's see, I don't know if there's enough touches. Right, clearly, there's a demand line right there. The upsloping support. Remember, it's a demand line because that is where buy orders are coming in. People are buying, and that's why we're getting bounces. So we call it a demand line. Then you have something called the supply line, which is on the top side in this situation. Right? So it's like, is it a rising wedge? Or is it just a channel, right? If we could break to the upside, break this Momo shift, man, you might have a very nice, you might have some decent upside potential. But you can see low, lower low, lowest low. Now we're making higher lows. Interesting, but you got to remember, what trend are you in? You are not in a bullish trend. Since this thing was created, once this thing was listed on this exchange, it's been nothing but lower highs, lower lows. No difference right now. Maybe in the short term you have a slightly higher high, but look at that MACD, man. You also had some Class A bearish divergence on the RSI, even ever so slight, but it was there. It's definitely there, man. You see it? Looney Fresh says, Mitch, huge love from the Pacific Northwest today, friend. Dude, it looks like the Pacific Northwest where I live right now. It's like, you ever seen the movie The Goonies? I'm sure you have. You know, go outside. It looks like that. It's just like, hey, you guys. Hey, you guys. Private lender, are you there, man? Wondering if you even heard what I said. Okay, answer your question. Hey, Blessed 1B. Yeah, thanks for the 360 or so people tuned in. If you're enjoying the live stream, hit that like button, that bell, that sub. Thanks so much. Amazing. Hitting that like button just shows your support for what I do, and it's just like, hey, I want you to keep coming back. So I'm just gonna hit that like button. So you could easily just look at this like a little short-term channel and an otherwise long-term downtrend. Okay, and if you ever break to the upside, we could use Fibonacci to figure out where there could be targets. Just go from that major discernible swing high to low, and you can see it. 43.75 to 59.68 is where we would probably see a reversal if we got there to one of these nodes. One of these nodes where we could reverse, but it just seems right now, I mean, of course, that we could invalidate this, just run again, but you got to think, with divergence so clear like that in a downtrend, added very, very critical resistance, we may sell off here. Okay. Marco, I don't know. Yeah, I'm bringing the beer back a little bit, I guess. I don't know. It's coming, man. It's coming. Brace yourselves for the beard. Give me a sec. There's ticker. Of course. Dirt. Mocha Mocha, thanks for the sub, man. Welcome. Thank you, dude. Alright, so someone wanted to see Nat Gas futures. It's fine. We can do that. don't know, man. It's like we had a descending broadening wedge. We had some clear downslope resistance, and then we broke it. Never made a measure move. The measure move's 100% retrace from the height of the pattern where it started. So we only got to a 78% retrace and then reversed our price action. And go figure, man. So it's interesting though, right? You got to think maybe it was this in hindsight, and hindsight's fine just for the sake of education, right? Yeah, it was like some sort of bearish cipher, right? I mean, am I crazy here? X to A, then you rallied B, C, and then D. So we see these all the time. We get them before they even get close, and then they get and they play out, or sometimes they don't. But in the situation, that could have been it right there. The bearish cipher, it hit the PCZ, the 786, almost perfectly, and then dumped. Now, one thing about it is there was no divergence at all. You might have to look at the 4-hour for it. Oh yeah, there was some very nice 4-hour divergence on the RSI. So let's go back, put that on the daily. Oops. Or put this on the 4-hour so we can see it at least. What? Okay, 24. All right, so we look at the 4-hour, we're just dissecting something that could have been a trade, right? That's what we're doing here. It's like we look to identify trade setups, and then we also look back at previous trade setups for the sake of education so you can be better equipped to take on these markets. All right, so what I'm talking about is when we made a high, a higher high, and we were nearing that high to low 70% retrace, a deep retrace, areas of value for shorters, short sellers, 786, 886 are the best. We showed it. It was here. High, higher high, lower levels, relative strength. It was very, very discernible there. For you just had to be looking for it, which you scan charts look for it. Also, while we had that, we had it on the 4-hour, the MACD as well. Do you see? Do you see? There it was. So, when you have a pattern that develops, it's nearing its PCZ, you are looking for variables like this. These variables give us a higher probability of the trade that we enter. It gives you a higher probability of it playing out. Does that make sense? Beautiful, man. Beautiful. Three to one. Yeah, I can show you exactly an example 3-to-1 for private lender he's asking. Okay, so in this situation, this is like a cookie cutter way of trading a cipher, a bearish cipher at these PCZs, which we know we didn't quite exactly. We only made it to 74%. You know, like it was almost there, man. 73 to 74. You know, you're looking at 786. It doesn't always go exactly there. And it probably had to do with the divergence. The divergence appeared at this second top. And at the second top, I mean, don't think we had any kind of pattern there. Nah, no real pattern. Unless you wanted to call it like a wedge or something. You know, I think up there might have been one. I'll show you, dude. Just give me a sec. Right, 1 and 2 there. And then 1 and 2 here. And so it was like a miniature little wedge. I just went, 1 and 2 there.
Bruh. Bruh.
Look here! Look, listen!
Let's go.
Mr. Damon tipped $20. What up, El Rey? What is up, Jesus peoples? Hope everyone is doing well while we patiently wait. Just saying what's up. As always, do not get wrecked.
Do not get wrecked, Mr. Damon Man. As always, don't do the Nutellas, just say no. Mr. Damon and his family stop the Nutellas, you can too. Alright, tell them. Thank you, dude, for the 20. Holy crap. Much love. So, Mr. Damon, what do we talk about? These 3 to 1s, you know? So this is just a shorting opportunity, not a long. So at the PCZ, right? You identify. This is just like how you identify it. You set up your alerts, and then you just the way that Casey Stubbs talks about these patterns is he has his stop losses above X, the beginning of the harmonic. So it's pretty loose. Right, it gives you a lot of room for error just in case it runs the 886, which happens before it dumps. All right, and his targets, his first one is at A, second one's at C. Now you can be look, it's when you do that, it's always going to be. I mean, like I haven't seen it to where it's always 3 to 1 or a little bit better if you make the stop that loose and then you have A as your target. It just always turns out to be that way. So 3 to 1. I'm trying to get it. Kind of gets annoying. And it's close. But so C. All right, 3.71 to 1. Does that make sense? That's it. That's 3 to 1. You're risking 1 to win 3. So you just got to look at it a certain way where you say, I'm willing to lose this amount of money to see if this trade plays out. Risking this much money to make this much if it actually plays out, right? But as you can see, a down sloping old resistance, now maybe a support. You're starting to bounce here. There's reasons why you're bouncing here. Okay, you made a low, a slightly lower low. You made much higher levels of relative strength. We call that Class A bullish divergence. So impending price action, reversal to the upside on this 4-hour time scale. That's what it signifies. That's it. All right, and we could be developing and I don't even know if it's probably deep enough. Like X, a cipher. Yeah. Yep. That's a 113% minimum, and the 786. Another potential shorting opportunity up here. It's a much smaller pattern, right? The larger the patterns, the more discernible they are on significant time scales. I think the better it's going to be for you. You know, we can see this though on the 4 hours. So if it does rally, it could rally up here, make a lower high, a deep retrace, go to $22.59 before selling off again. All right, but you're looking a little exhausted on this time scale. There's even, there actually is just a little bit of bullish divergence on the MACD. A low, slightly lower low with higher levels or lower levels of negative momentum. All right, this is impending price action reversal, and so maybe you're getting it right before you get to that A, and so people can just go ahead and just they're going to take profit. They're going to cover their shorts there. All right, does that help at all? What's up, eSnap? Bless up. Thank you for your TA. We're also blessed to have such an incredible person. Well, thanks, man. I don't know, man. I'm just a normal guy. I'm like you. I'm like everyone, dude. We're just, that's the point, dude. If I can do this, you can do it. All right? It just requires you to invest in yourself a lot. And you can do the same stuff. Thanks for watching, eSnap. Okay. So that's it, man. We got someone buying dislikes or creating dislikes. Obviously, they got nothing better to do. That sucks for them, man. Right? I'm just here living my best life. Okay. So not much movement on Bitcoin after the weekly close. That's okay. So start looking at a futures chart. Give me a sec. Jeez, you can get it, man. Okay, so here you are. This is the Dow Jones futures. What does that look like? It looks like almost an ascending triangle. It's slight amounts, very, very minute amounts of distribution. Almost, it's like a double top, but very clear accumulation here. That's it. Right, I guess we could extend it out. Then it's not as perfect. Get it right. You can see it. You can make the structure larger, whatever, dude. You know, it looks perfect that way, though. Either way, very large pattern consolidation that I guess started, you know, in June, early June of this year. And the big resistance is at like 27,300 or so. If we want to get targets, if we have a breakout, and breaking this would be all-time highs, or testing our previous all-time highs back from October and September 2018, you just go from your high to low, and then your 1272 is at 28,000. If we could ever break this, we might have a chance of getting up there to those fib extensions. And that's it, man. Thanks, ICO News, man. Appreciate you watching, dude. Appreciate all y'all. Seriously, man. This is just, you know, we're just hanging out, doing what we love, man. Who cares? That's right. We're pulling each other up onto the table almost every day, right? Oh, man. Excuse me. What's up, Hewitt, dude? Yeah, I don't know how much longer, dude. I've been live for about an hour now. 1 hour. It seems like, you know, I get a feel for how the stream's going about an hour in, and then I decide whether it's time to get out of here or keep going. It does seem very clear. I mean, I've covered what we need to talk about. We went over education, risk to reward, position, sizing, your trades, all that stuff, right? Good luck on Adam, man. Maybe set up an alert, see what happens, but the divergence, man, can see that going down. Which one was it that had a good day today? People talking about ZRX, right? Excuse me. Look at this, man. Like, ZRX is holding still. This beautiful, beautiful downtrend you've been in. It kind of started, like, I guess that impulse at the top. That was that first anchor point, May of 2018. You're just now breaking out, and finally talking a year and a half or more at this point, just a little bit. And so being out of it is fantastic. You were at this area where we couldn't break it. We up thrusted, sold off, and then we finally busted back above it. And, you know, we are still showing bearish divergence, but this was something I discussed where the positive Momo could just keep building. Okay. And it did. And your RSI is building too. You're still making lower levels than your previous high. So eventually this divergence will mature, and I just don't know how high it will go before then. Something that's great on ZRX is on the daily. You are now you're above the 200 moving average, right? Since we've actually broken it, I mean, we are not, when we break above it, we're seldom above it for long in this downtrend. Look, you come up, you fail, right? This is when it was created on this exchange, you know, the 200, it's like when there's enough data for it to be plotted. Okay. Wait, what happened? Why did Rush get timed out? Why did Sophie get timed out? I'm confused. I don't think it was warranted at all for Rush to get timed out. ICO, I don't know, man, because it's like a Chinese asset, and a Chinese asset, I mean, how can you ever trust like information coming from that, right? I think the whole culture, the Chinese culture, lacks scruples just because of the way it was created, and that goes deep into human psychology and just totalitarianism or communism, whatever. I don't know, man. It's just like Wild West, dude. Wild friggin' West. Okay. But yeah, I mean, the idea of them using blockchain technology to help with logistics is a great idea. But I do think that they have competitors. And they'll continue to gain competitors if this space continues to mature. What's up, Andreas, Felipe? Okay, man. So, good stream, I guess, right? This market's very boring. Whatever, man. There's many markets that we've looked at all. I mean, we've looked at the stock market, looked at the futures. We looked at a little bit of commodities, and we want to look at gold or something. Gold open. Yeah, it's not really doing anything. The market's open though. Yeah. Here we go. Hey, Bradley Abel, man. What's up, dude?
Is that a joint?
What's up, dude? That was for you. So, with gold, man, go to the daily. Look at it. Look here, listen. Alright, we broke the upsloping support, the demand line. We break, hook, and goad it, too. And then we rallied for another time consecutively. 1 high, 2, 3. You failed. And now there's a confirmation line. This is a potential bearish pattern called the 3 falling peaks. And, you know, I think that you might be correcting right now. If we corrected, a 100% measured move of this pattern would put you down near the 200-day moving average at 1336 or 1366, very close to the neckline of the momentously sized, slanted, complex inverse head and shoulders pattern that we never back tested, not once. So maybe if we're lucky, we get back down to those areas. Could be buying opportunities. But right now, as it stands, you're making lower highs. Almost looks like a head and shoulders, whatever you want to call it. I do think that it went from a head and shoulders. It's developing, maturing into something else, which is, again, something that you need to learn. You need to learn these patterns and be able to identify them and understand the criteria that makes them actual viable trade setups. Okay. No, I've not seen that movie yet. I'm going to at some point. I just gotta get on it, man. All right. So gold might be a. Hey, look, you think about it, dude. It's like it's a safe haven asset, and a safe haven asset is not going to do well when the presidential administration's talking about actually making progress in that first phase of the trade deal, and then you've got at the same time the Fed cutting rates. So if that type of, if that type of stuff continues going the way it's going now, then you should probably see gold continue to correct until something changes and people freak out and then gold pops again. Just because you correct doesn't mean it's over. Corrections happen all the time, man. No, Jeff, that's wrong, dude. You're just stirring stuff up, man. I mean, you're probably the person with 24 counts down disliking my videos. Go figure, dude. No, it's like literally one person in their parents' basement. I don't know. I think they have a beef with Troll, like with the mods or something, because they like had a swastika or something and on their Discord avatar, and they got banned for it, and they just can't accept that they're banned for that reason. So they're just trying to create problems for me and the mods. I don't know, man. It's weird. How's Bat looking today? We can look at Bat. Holding decently, right? I mean, it had a little bit of divergence, right? Just a little bit. It was clear, very clear, discernible Class B bearish divergence where you double top on price and make lower levels on your oscillators than the previous ones. So since that's 3-day selling, we're now beginning to rally again. Maybe we can break 21 cents, but this is a trade setup. This was a finally is there. I mean, finally. Sorry, that was in log. It didn't change that much, but 88% retrace. Once it hit that literally perfectly, it's now bounced and you're up. Okay, and we just talked about, we had our stop losses below X. Now we can move our stops up to nearly break even price just in case the trade fails. We're out of there, no big deal. Who cares? But you should be in this, and you should be pretty well in the green at this point. So if you ever break that, man, we are looking for very high targets at this point. If you just since it's taken off, you can call audibles on your trade setup, whatever. You can go high to low. If you want to be more conservative, look, a 38% to retrace is 28 cents. That's where we could easily reverse. That's near the 200-day moving average, which we're below now. I mean, you're talking about 50%, 618. These are all viable targets, but in this situation, just the way we had it, it's like in order for it to be worth it to us, you don't C and A, that's like the textbook profit taking levels, but I mean 4.58 to 1, that means that you can afford to take profit at a lower level. Look, the 618 is at 3.62 to 1. It's crazy. What's up, who knew? Crypto 2 times. What's up, Irwin Coffee in the house? Good to see everybody on this dreary Sunday. All right. So yeah, man, that's Bat. That's Bat Connect. Doing well, man. This one's doing fan-friggin-tastic. How in the world, how ironic is it that you have Bat and Bat paints a bullish Bat pattern? You just can't make that up. It's real life. Kevin, I think there needs to be an actual reason, technically, for you to be buying any asset, not just picking random S coins or going all in on Bitcoin. I think with some of that 12K cash that you should invest in yourself and buy a bunch of books. And if you're going into a position, maybe it's better to layer in versus just going all in, because when you go all in, your position is all tied up in an asset, so if it dumps, well, you're deep in the red already, and you have no dry powder being extra cash to buy position when the prices dump. Okay. What's up, swing trade? Okay, dude. So here's your daily, the Equidistant channel with the daily. I don't know if we looked at that really, but do you remember the idea that we think just because the rejection of the 200-day moving average, there is a chance always that we could lose the positive Momo and sell off to lower prices, lower than 7,700. And when we do that, it might make a slightly lower low. There's other supports down here, but in time we could see some MACD bullish divergence. And that can manifest into much higher prices. Impending price action reversal on daily time scale. Very rarely do we get that on Bitcoin, but when we do, it's very well respected and is very accurate. Yeah, crypto 2 times, that's okay, man. Just, you know, I've been doing purges. Well, we've had to. It's just for the safety of the channel, man. Okay. What a day, man. What a weekend. Friggin' good weekend, dude. Crazy good weekend. Oh my god. Okay, so I'll leave you that, man. I'll leave you that. The weekly closed. It ended up being a bullish engulfing candle, but you know, not a very big candle. You know, you like having large bullish engulfing candles. We had a decent amount of selling towards the end of the week. That was just a couple hours ago, or less. There's a chance that Amazon could break to the upside at some point. I do think, though, that there might be something more major going on, and it would be wonderful. But again, okay, this is Amazon. Amazon with a very large potential pattern. Not even close yet. This could be a bullish. Well, actually, hold on. That'd be a cipher. So it'll be a 786. Excuse me. Oh my god, yeah, and on this one, sometimes it plays out brilliantly where it's like the 786 is where the 1618 fib extension is. So what is that? Confluence. Confluence always makes these patterns stronger, right? 1618, 786, boom. E and C and X and C right here. X marks the spot. If we could ever get a chance down here, which I think we will probably bounce the upside soon, but maybe just to make a lower high. And it's because we're showing very nice bullish divergence on the RSI and MACD. Slightly lower low than the previous low with much lower levels of negative Momo. This is saying upside. All right. Excuse me on that. So what could happen? He's talking about a cipher. I think I know what he's talking about. It's like X, A. See, it's almost not, dude. Very close. Yeah, there you go. Actually, that's a little too deep. Remember, I mean, maybe not on the wick, not on the candle close. It might be valid, but the wick is not, right? These the max you can go is a 1414, 1.414. And this got to like 138.5% on the candle close, not the wick. So if it was to rally, it could have some sort of move, and a good short could be on Amazon around 1974, near 2000. Okay. So there you have it. There's a potential for harmonics both ways, where you run up even here. Like this could still be part of C to D wave, running up more, but you may never get there, right? These are just, remember, harmonics are there to give us good ideas of where value might be for a long or a short. So that's it. Do you understand, man? Beautiful. What's hopium? I don't know what hopium is, dude. Get right. I think Apple is in a bearish butterfly. Look at that, too. Yes, sir. I've had this plotted for a long time, and it's just continuing to run. We're looking for potential. I mean, there's the opportunity for a short on this asset at between 257 all the way up to 288. This is a zone, this pattern. PCZ, it can be anywhere between these three fib extensions. All right, you think maybe the 1272, because in time maybe we could run up, and we've got an upsloping channel, so there might be just some up, you know, there might be a supply line here, you'd think. Okay. That's it. Beautiful developing pattern so far. It can continue to run until, again, 257 to 288. That's it. Okay. Before selling off or correcting a little bit. All right, you look for it to do this stuff, right? Run up and then reverse, or reverse, or yeah, these patterns aren't as good. I don't think they're good, but they're not great just because the PCZ is so abstract, I guess you could say. It's a wide range. You know, when you get ciphers and stuff, they're normally at the 786. It's very easy. This one, you have to rely more on your oscillators to help you figure out where impending price action reversal might be occurring. Whether it's near the bottom of the PCZ or the top. Okay? Great. All right, man. So I'm going to get out of here. Been live for an hour and 16 minutes. Thanks so much for showing up for this Sunday stream. Don't know if I'll be back tonight, man. There's just... sometimes there's demand for what I do, and sometimes there's not. Okay, so I'm just going to refresh. Maybe just see y'all tomorrow, okay? You know, it's about 4 days till my birthday, man. So it is my birthday week. Hype in the chat for that, okay? So again, we got Dan G, Mr. Damon, and Marco Rivera. Thank you all for the contributions today. Y'all are amazing. Really appreciate that. Because of people like you, I'm able to come back all the time to give you analysis, education, and updates. So y'all keep scanning those charts. I'll be back. So until then, respect the TA.
There's some things that I had on my mind for a long time. Am I the only one that makes you lose your mind?
Bruh.
There's some things that I had on my mind for a long time. Am I the only one that makes you lose your mind?